and committee for putting me in such a prestigious class. You know, like Stu said, there's an 18-year gap between Stu and myself and the rest of the inductee. So to be in this class is a very prestigious award for myself. I kind of agree with Stu. This is not an individual award for me because I wouldn't have been able to do it without a lot of people. A lot of people in this room, my family, my mom, my brother, my sister, my uncles, my aunts, cousins, friends, personal friends. You know, I would like to also thank a lot of people that are in this class that have helped me along the way without even knowing that they helped me. All the accomplishments that I've done, it was easy to be on the court, but the things that they showed me off the court is what helped me stay on the court and be able to be the person that I am today. You know, the first person I would like to thank is Mr. Cano. For a while there, I didn't know if Mr. Cano or Mr. Miller was my head coach. You know, I was cussed out so much by Mr. Cano walking the hallways from just different things. I didn't know if he was the AD, my head coach, or what. There was probably 2 people in Reading High, or 3 people that I was scared of walking the halls. Mr. Cano was one. Mr. Miller, rest in peace. You know, everybody knows him, how big he was and how skinny I was in high school. I definitely stayed away from him. The next person is Ms. Hartman. She doesn't know, there's a class that you take at school, it's called Advanced Phys Ed. You can take it if you have study hall. You basically use the teacher's aide in gym class. And I think Reading High put me on purpose, put me as her assistant. And she was the girls' phys ed teacher. She made sure I look at any of the girls, cursed me out every day. And you know, she was one of the meanest people at the time. You know, listening to her cussing, telling her what she was cussing out the baseball players, I went through it as a student. And I like messing with her now. Every time she sees me, you don't remember who I am. You don't remember who I am. And I do it on purpose, and I act like I don't. She still gets pissed off and walks away. And then I have to grab her and say, no, I know who you are. And, you know, those things, they made school fun. They made school fun for me, made me want to go to school every day. Stu Jackson. You know, I remember the first time meeting Stu. Now, he remembers me when I was a baby, so I don't remember that part, but I remember the first time meeting Stu. I'm at Reading High basketball camp. Stu Jackson comes to speak. He gives this great speech about how he doesn't hang out, never hung out in high school, never, you know, drank. Obviously, you heard the story just made this fantastic speech. I was in 9th grade, headed to 10th grade at the time. So I run home, I tell my grandma, I met Stu Jackson today. He gave this great speech about how he didn't do this, he didn't do that. He was always, you know, his friends wanted to hang out. He didn't do that. He stayed at home and did his schoolwork. Coach Miller already talked about my grandma. My grandma sat me down and said, "Donnie, sit down. Let me tell you a little about Stu." And I think, you know, Stu, you helped me out because you taught me how to be a speaker. You taught me how when I spoke to kids every day, you taught me how to speak to kids. And obviously, you know, you playing with my uncles and growing up with my mom and dad, you're the person that I looked up to that made me want to put a Reading High jersey on. You know, Pete Carrell, he was at Princeton. I've heard a lot about Pete. I started working Princeton basketball camp after I graduated from Reading High. Unfortunately, I found out that Pete's goal was to always coach a basketball player from Reading High. I don't know if that was the right move for me to do. I used to work this camp for a week. I felt like I was down there for months. He used to work me out every day for hours. I didn't know. I told him I had just signed connected. I didn't come to Princeton. But he taught me so much. If everybody remembers watching me shoot at the time, I had a knuckleball, no spin, no nothing. He taught me how to move my hand. I was basically blocking my own shot. He taught me how to move my hand. He taught me how to put the ball on the floor. Taught me so much. Every night after the counselors would put the kids to sleep, we would always meet. He would talk to me. To this day, he still talks to me. You know, I want to thank you for that, Pete. You know, last but not least, obviously my Uncle Lenny. You know, somebody in my family to look up to. You know, it taught me so much. Remember as a freshman, writing me a long letter. Still have that letter. You know, it was special. Something special to my heart, and you know, I'm glad to call you my uncle. Last but not least, I want to thank Coach Miller as well as apologize. I know you don't know what I'm apologizing for, but I want to thank him because you know everybody when they play basketball they want to move up, they want to play varsity in 9th grade. Mr. Miller took his time with me. He didn't let me move up. For a moment, he had moved me up to varsity in 10th grade. Wasn't playing. I asked him, can I go back down to JV? You know, he took his time with me, and I think it helped me out, made me a better player. I also want to thank him for making me hate the Boston Celtics. You know, I remember playing, you know, we used to play 2-on-2, me and another teammate, and him and his brother, Terry Miller. And, you know, I think he's the one who taught me that as you get older, you get better. You get smarter with basketball. You can be athletic and be young, but until you learn the game of basketball, you don't know how to play it. And, you know, I'm sitting there, I'm in high school, I'm thinking that I'm just going to beat him just because I'm young, and he's sitting there shooting floaters over me, and as he's shooting floaters, he's yelling Larry Bird and and things like that. I mean, I went home and I couldn't stand the Celtics, and to this day, I'm still glad I never played for the Celtics. But I want to apologize. I know, you know, he's not going to remember this. My senior year, we were playing Coatesville. We were down 1, and it's a miracle he never asked me why I did what I did. We're playing Coatesville. We're up 1 with about a minute, 45 seconds to a minute left in the game. Coatesville's trying to dribble the ball around to get the last shot. Right now, you know, anybody knows we won our first 29 games that year. At that time, we were about 4-0. I go up and I foul the guard on purpose. When we're the team that's up. Usually, you don't do that. You let them try to shoot. I foul the guy on purpose. Anybody who knows Coach Miller has always known Coach Miller. His afro never moves. It's always stayed the same, no matter how it's still the same. Afro never moves. I found a kid. I look over at the bench, and his hair is everywhere. His hands are everywhere. He's screaming at me, "Why did you do that?" Coach Miller, I get it because I don't know if you remember in 10th grade we were playing Roman Catholic. We were up 1 at the time. They took the last shot and they made the shot. We lost the game at the buzzer. At the time, we were up. I think the kid, if you remember, the kid had made 11 for 11 from the free throw line. After I fouled him, obviously Coach was screaming, "What are you doing? The kid's 11 for 11. In my mind, I didn't want to go through what I did with Central with Roman Catholic, where the guy takes the last shot, makes it, we walk off the court and we lose. I wanted to be, even if the guy made it, Coach Miller had put enough confidence in myself that if he made it, we were going to go down and get the last shot, and we were going to still win this game. Coach Miller obviously didn't know that that was my plan, but that was my plan at the time. I wanted to show that we had the confidence. Things worked out on my side. The guy made it was 11 for 11. He ended up missing both free throws. I got the rebound, made 2 free throws, sealed the game. We won it. I know after the game he still wanted to kill me, but I just felt that I wanted to finally share that story with you of why I did what I did. And, you know, again, I could go on forever speaking about things just like everybody else did, but this award is not about me. This award is about everybody, all the inductees who were before me, because there was 2 times that I felt a chill through my body and wanted to cry. And that's when I put 2 uniforms on. One was the Sixers, and the other one was when I put the Red and Hot uniform on. And that chill came because of the things you guys made that were before me. And you guys made me want to put a Red and Hot jersey on, and you guys are the reason why I'm saying up here today.